first CEO position, the highest salary, $250 I've ever done. As you know me, I'm always up for a challenge. Let's talk how we were able to find and close our first CEO candidate that also happened to be the largest single placement I've done in my entire recruiting career. When we engaged with our e-commerce client, we didn't do the traditional contingency. We actually did a sort of a retainer model where basically that means the company paid us monthly in addition to a percentage on the back end because of the complexity and because of the seniority level of this position, because they were looking for a CEO. This was the first ever CEO position I've ever done. The closest positions I've done were COO, general managers, SVPs, but to do a CEO was really, really exciting as this is our first experience kind of embarking on this new challenging position. Anyway, the company reached out to us. We were able to do a wonderful previous placement with them, the head of sales. They were really happy in the speed and the quality of candidates that we brought. So they asked us if we can help with the CEO. And as you know me, I'm always up for a challenge. We agreed on the terms and essentially really kind of went in depth in terms of what they were looking for. Because of the senior level of this position and the specific particular criteria they're looking for, I thought this was going to be very, very difficult. And then we essentially get started. The crazy thing about this position is that initially I expected this to take probably about 2 to 3 months to close because I knew that my client was picky. I knew they were looking for someone particular, but the candidate they ended up liking was part of our first cohort. So I think we were able to talk to a good number. We submitted, I think, the first 3, and out of those 3, he liked one of them, who ended up being the candidate that went through every single round. Basically, the whole process with the specific candidate was super smooth. After the first interview, our client essentially told us he's the one. We don't want to talk to anyone else. More people started coming in terms of screening, and we kind of kept them on the back burner and did whatever we could to kind of kept this candidate going. First round, second round, third round, boom, he went through every single round up to a point where, the client wanted to move forward. And then throughout the whole interview process, we would regularly check in with our candidate, and he would express really strong interest, and he's not interviewing anywhere else. Everything else was aligned in terms of what he was looking for, salary, equity, growth. When the offer came out, the only thing that he really wanted to do was try to negotiate the equity percentage. Initially, they came out with 3. He wanted to see if they can come up with anything more than that, and essentially had a wonderful kind of direct communication with our client, with us on the supporting end, going back and forth and just doing whatever we can to kind of make sure our candidate remains engaged, positive, and to counter and address really any obstacles or any complications that could have arose, which was quite minimal at this stage. The offer came out. He wants to negotiate. They had, I believe, 1 or 2 more conversations, after which our hiring manager sent the revised offer letter to our candidate. He reviewed, and then about a couple of days later signed. And the crazy thing about this is all of this took place, the offer, when our candidate was actually on vacation cruise in the middle of ocean somewhere. So the fact that he has Wi-Fi, the fact that he was able to even be accessible at this point, to me was mind-boggling, because I know as a recruiter who's done this so long, the most difficult thing is when an offer happens and you just can't even communicate or even reach the candidate, which can slow everything down or just add a whole nother layer of complications. The fact that he was on a boat in the middle of the ocean somewhere and he was able to be super responsive and accessible, it just worked out super fine. And we ended up with an amazing package. I believe 4+% equity, $250,000 in terms of starting salary, and a candidate and client ended up just being completely happy with the opportunity of us working with this client for future roles moving forward. So this just goes to show how important we take our intake calls. We do not start any search without knowing exactly what our client wants, so that we're not here to waste our time. We're not here to waste anybody's time. We're here to go after and be super laser focused and surgical, going after tier A candidates. So I think here we did a wonderful job. Our targeting was on point. We super lucked out, to be honest, for having this candidate. It's very difficult to get senior level executives that are interested in your position, that are available also to start interviewing, let alone start soon with your ideal position. So first CEO position, the highest salary, $250 I've ever done. The highest I had before this was $225. So another personal record. Great job to the team for sourcing, managing, and maintaining everything. Another happy candidate, another happy client, win-win for everybody, and on to the next one.